Some of you have been calling it backsliding when it's really exhaustion. You say you don't feel God the way you used to. Most times I've heard people say, I'm not praying like before. Or some say, I open my Bible and my mind just feels foggy. I personally have said, I know what's right, but I don't have the strength for it. Now, because your fire feels low, you assume your faith is dying. What if the issue is not rebellion? What if the issue is that you're tired in places that sleep cannot fix? Now, think about that for a second. There's a kind of tiredness that doesn't show on your face. It lives in the soul. It comes from carrying pressure for too long, from being too strong for everybody, from surviving disappointment, from functioning while quietly hurting, from doing what needed to be done while neglecting what needed to be healed. Now, when that kind of fatigue settles in, spiritual things feel distant. Prayer begins to feel heavy. Worship feels muted, and church feels hard. And sometimes even silence feels loud. And so you begin to panic. Something must be wrong with me. You say to yourself, yeah, maybe something is wrong. Maybe it's not what you think. Maybe you're not drifting from God. Maybe you're just dragging yourself through life with no oil left in the lamp. Hi, my name is Matt Lawson. And if this kind of message helps you breathe a little deeper and think a little clearer, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with someone who has been quietly carrying too much for too long. There are many people today smiling in public and collapsing in private. Now, here's the truth. Not every dry season is disobedience. Sometimes dryness is depletion. Even Jesus told his disciples to come away and rest after seasons of pouring out. He did not shame them for being human. He did not say, if you're spiritual enough, you wouldn't be tired. He recognized limits. Now, that matters more than many people realize, because some believers have learned to feel guilty for being human. They feel guilty for needing rest, guilty for feeling overwhelmed, and guilty for not being on fire every day, guilty for struggling to focus. But guilt is a poor shepherd. It can move you, but it cannot restore you. And many sincere Christians are trying to solve burnout with shame. I can tell you that never works. If your phone battery is at 1%, yelling at it does not charge it. Calling it lazy does not charge it either. Comparing it to other phones does not charge it. It needs connection to a power source. It needs stillness. It needs time to charge. Yes, I get it. You're not machinery. You're a person. But let me give you an example. There was a season in my own life where I thought I had lost something spiritual. I was still showing up. I was still doing what I needed to do, still saying the right things. But inside, everything felt thin. Prayer felt like I was pushing a car up a hill. My thoughts scattered. I assumed I needed more discipline, naturally. Now, some discipline was needed, yes, but what I really needed was honesty. I was carrying stress that I had renamed as maturity. I was calling constant pressure responsibility. But once I slowed down enough to admit that I was worn out, I began to recover. Well, not instantly, but truly. Now, some of you need that same honesty. You may not need a louder prayer life at first. You may need to acknowledge that you're running on fumes. You may need to admit that the version of strength that you've been performing with is costing you too much. You may need to tell yourself the truth. Tell yourself, I'm present, but I'm depleted. That kind of truth is not weakness, it's wisdom. Now, let's be balanced here. Sometimes people do drift spiritually. Sometimes hearts become cold through compromise, through pride, through hidden sin, through neglect. Yes, that's real. We should not excuse everything as burnout. But many people know when they're resisting God, and many others are not resisting Him at all. They're reaching for Him with trembling hands while carrying too much weight. That's different. There's a difference here. You see, one person is running away, another person is crawling forward. So from the outside, both may look slow, but heaven sees the difference clearly. So ask yourself gently, not harshly, have I lost hunger for God because I love other things more? Or have I lost energy because life has drained me? Have I become numb because I'm hiding sin or because I'm carrying pain? Ask yourself, have I stopped seeking God, or have I simply forgotten how to rest in Him? Those questions really matter because the treatment depends on the diagnosis. If it is sin, for example, repent and return. If it is burnout, recover wisely and return.